Johan, ik geef je 3 seconden om opzij te stappen, anders schiet ik dwars door je heen.
Hey everybody, I'm Johnny. So some of you may have recently seen the new Dutch World War II film The Forgotten Battle on Netflix, depicting the Battle of Scheldt in 1944. If you haven't seen it, do check it out. It's well worth watching. After watching it, I thought it would be a good idea to highlight some other great Dutch war films. They have a lot, and I got 3 for you today. Only one will be a World War II flick, as the Netherlands movie industry has a lot of World War II cinema, so expect a Dutch World War II movie list in the near future. But anyway, let's check out these 3 great films. Alright, starting with Mikkel de Ruyter, also titled The Admiral from 2015. There are so few ship-of-the-line genre movies, particularly ones that offer this scale. If you are a fan of the brilliant Master and Commander, you will likely enjoy the lengthy and detailed nautical scenes in this film. The movie follows the career of 17th century Dutch Admiral Mikkel de Ruyter, the Netherlands equivalent of Horatio Nelson. You'll get to follow Ruyter's naval career through a number of significant historical battles during the Anglo-Dutch Wars. The battles feature both average CGI and impressive seaworthy replica frigates. Expect significant political events to take place between naval battles, which can be complicated for viewers unfamiliar with the history of the Netherlands, which at the time was a young republic comprised of 7 provinces, some favoring republican rule, others favoring rule by monarch.
Heeft niet ieder van u een familielid verloren tegen de Spanjaarden of de Engelsen?
En was dat staatsgezinsbloed of prinsgezinsbloed?
The acting is overall excellent, and even has some recognizable British actors. Watch this movie for the significant ship-of-the-line naval battles of the Anglo-Dutch Wars of the mid-17th century, and to gain some insight into a period of time and a nation that gets almost no coverage in Western cinema. Do expect some nationalist overtones in this movie, but this generally falls well below typical nationalism found in most Hollywood war movies.
Du bist nur ein kleiner Haufen Scheiße auf unserem Weg zum Endsieg.
Over een paar weken trappen de Russen jou de zee in. Met al je beulen daarbij.
Black Book 2006. I wanted to feature one World War II movie. Arguably, Black Book is one of the best Dutch modern World War II movies, but there are a lot, and these movies will get their own list in the future, I do promise. Black Book or Soldier of Orange are great starting places if you want to explore World War II Dutch cinema. Black Book follows a young Jewish woman played by Carice Van Houten. You may recognize her as the Red Woman from Game of Thrones. It's a really terrific cast. You'll recognize other actors familiar to the World War II genre, like Christian Berkel and Sebastian Koch. The story is loosely based off a combination of several different true stories. Our Jewish protagonist, unable to escape the country, joins the Dutch resistance, proving a useful asset after seducing a local SD commander.
Vielen Dank.
So sehr lieben Sie die Musik?
Het is mijn beroep. Ik was Sängerin voor den Krieg.
Overall, the characters are well developed and provide a good female and Jewish perspective of the resistance. Probably what is most interesting or unique in the film is the perspective of different high-ranking Wehrmacht officers and how the pending end of the war for Germany affects their personal plans for survival, with some officers choosing brutality and absolute dedication, with others attempting to mitigate the damage done to an occupied nation by a clear lost cause. The movie also highlights the incredible and historic scramble to move wealth in gold and jewels by Nazis and corrupt citizens looking to take advantage of the chaos at the end of the war. One further uncomfortable theme covered in the film is the sometimes brutal treatment of Nazi sympathizers and collaborators after the war. Be it fair or unfair, it was certainly done so without due process across Europe, to both men and women. Okay, lastly, we have The East from 2020. This movie covered a war that will be completely foreign to most viewers outside the Netherlands. It certainly was to me. And that's the Indonesian National Revolution immediately following World War II. And just a disclaimer, this movie has some dark themes surrounding the Dutch army's role in war crimes during the revolution.
Momenteel regeert chaos het land. Jappen zijn net weg, Engelsen zijn weer gevlogen. De regering in Nederland weet totaal niet wat ze moet doen en de Indonesiërs, zoals ze zichzelf al noemen, liggen met elkaar overhoop.
Before the Japanese occupied Indonesia in World War II, it was a Dutch colony. Subsequently, after the Japanese surrendered in 1945, Indonesia proclaimed independence in August of the same year. The Dutch, with the help of their Western allies, attempted to retain their former colony.
Met dank aan onze Amerikaanse bondgenoten zijn hier onlangs de Japanse nazi's eruit getrapt.
Much of the movie takes the viewpoint of a largely apolitical soldier attempting to do his part. Our protagonist, looking to further involve himself in a war he believes in, joins up with the historic figure Raymond the Turk Westerling, who ran a brutal campaign in the province of South Sulawesi to counter so-called terrorism by insurgent forces. Much of the specifics on Westerling and Dutch war crimes remain contestable to this day, in part because of the 1949 Dutch-Indonesian Agreement on the transfer of power, including not to investigate wartime offenses by either side. The strength of this film does not come from any battle or combat scenes, which are limited in the film. What is most interesting is the unique settings and views. Even just watching different Dutch soldiers trying to pull rank on each other based on who participated in the Dutch resistance during World War II is something interesting and not featured in other war films. The movie also flashes in time to and from the Netherlands and Indonesia and offers some perspectives back home, showing many Dutch citizens just wanting to enjoy peace and rebuild their nation, viewing the colonial conflict and their government's involvement similar to how they viewed the Germans, they themselves only just being freed from occupation.
Voelt het nooit gek om tegen je eigen mensen te vechten?
The film also shows several points of view from local Indonesians, highlighting to the viewer that even the concept of a greater Indonesian nation was foreign to some Indonesians fighting alongside the Dutch. Indonesia is extremely diverse. Its 16,000 islands host 1,300 unique ethnic groups. The Indonesian National Revolution was complex, and even included remaining Japanese soldiers waiting to leave the island, and in some cases, joining Indonesian nationalists. Watch The East for one soldier's window into the events of this complicated and overlooked colonial conflict. Alright, thanks for watching. I'm Johnny. Feel free to add any discussion around Dutch cinema or history in the comments section below.